Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for October 27th through November 2nd, 2025. So, as we start, let's begin by setting a clear intention for this week's energies. And they are showing me sort of someone who is, I said, it's almost like there's this very thin kind of cloth that they're wearing, and I'm seeing it from behind, and I'm sort of seeing this naked behind, and the cloth is blowing right in the wind so that they are not fully protected. They're often exposed, but there is this carefreeness about it where it feels like the wind sort of exposing, making one appear more vulnerable, but they're not allowing themselves to be distracted by that. They seem very focused on what's ahead of them, and just finding some level of comfortability with themselves and within the circumstances in which they find themselves. Now, this is also taking place in a nature setting. So this gives us a sense that we need to really be prepared to be focused on what is really important and engaging those circumstances or situations with courage and faith, profound faith, and not let these things behind you in the past or anything that might be coming up from your past to kind of pull you out of this awareness of inner peace that you now, because you've grown from those circumstances and you've learned and you've taken those lessons and you're moving forward. But this doesn't mean that they won't try to tug at you from behind and distract you and draw you back into those vulnerable places. And they even write the word shame in capital letters. So let our intention be to focus in who we are now, and the growth and the maturity that we have evolved into through hard work and courage and a lot of faith. And it feels like you're just really starting to believe in yourself. So now is the time where that might be tested in some way. But they're just like this, like a light wind. Nothing to get yourself there's no need for armor, a battle armor. It's just, this is subtle, but it can really unravel if we feed into it, if we allow ourselves to reach back into those places in ourselves that truly just a phantom experience of the past. But it's not real drama that's being that's being created in your life. It's not there to test you or challenge you, but we have to have we carry things with us, And it might just be there's a reminder to just keep letting it go. Whatever you were doing, whatever process you were using, to don't forget the process. It's sort of like when I was taking voice lessons, my teacher kept really focusing on a process that we were using to gain more freedom, vocal freedom. And she would say, don't try to repeat that the outcome. It's like we reach an outcome and then we say, okay, we think in our heads, we know what we did to do that. And it's sort of like end game is what she called it. I think where you just want to keep skipping to the end and doing, and when you do that, you kind of make it a trick. Like you create this trick that you can always use to help you to escape the process that established your growth. And so she would tell me every time we do the vocal exercise, go back, do the process, okay? And let the process lead you to even freer outcomes. Don't just accept that outcome you had at that stage, at that point in the past. To always, when you find the process that works, until it doesn't, and then you have to find or adapt the process that you have, but always use the process to lead you to newer freedoms. And so that was vocal alignment. This is spiritual alignment. So find those keep working with your process that led you to that liberation you've experienced in the past, where now this experience is sort of just a phantom breeze. But keep using the process to help you to find even newer freedoms with this reoccurrence of a circumstance in your life, or whatever you want to call it. You might refer to it as this shadow aspect. That's just like a shadow flare. That's another way to put it. They just gave me that. But you can't deal with the shadow flare with tricks that you learned in the past. It always has to be from a process that enables growth. So our intention is to really focus on the process that enables growth as we deal with these shadow flares in our lives. All right, so if you haven't already, make sure that you have subscribed. And first of all, welcome everyone. Whether you have been with us for a long time, or if you've just discovered us or recently discovered us, welcome. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe. Select the all notification bell so you are aware of whenever any content is put out. Also, like, and of course, leave your comments. If you would like to get an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. And just be aware that during the school year when I'm teaching, Saturdays is the ideal office hours that I have after 2 p.m. to about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you'd like to support my channel with a donation, you can use my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom LLC. If you haven't had a chance to see the monthly angel reading for October, I know we're getting to the end, but you might want to check back in, and with that, that'll be the first video link that you will see. So everything I've just mentioned, the links are in the description area beneath this video. And also, I think my mentor and healer, Kim Sear, will be back this Sunday, or at least for the Sunday of November 2nd, I'm sure, and may even, yeah. So she should be back doing her videos on Sundays at 7 p.m. I can't remember if she's Central or Eastern Standard Time, but you can, check that out on her channel, Kim Sear, her YouTube channel. Okay, I always feel like I'm forgetting something. I'm just gonna also ask, I have a third cousin. He's an infant. I think he's somewhere around 4 months old, and he has a hole in his heart. And so I just recently found out about it. And his name is Jaire, and he's having, a lot of difficulties. So if he can make it to 6 months, then they can do the surgery for him. So just all of you healers, and please, send him love and healing for his heart and for his body, to have what he needs in order to receive this restorative surgery for his heart. All right, so let's take a deep breath. And let's connect in with your angels and their messages for this week. And just allow yourself to be fully grounded and rooted deep into the heart of Lady Gaia. They were showing me sort of this long sort of corridor underneath a passage, in a mountainside. And it kind of felt, like we're going through this inner journey in this week. And it depends on how you view or would react in a situation like this. You could either be afraid of being alone, being separated from your normal team of support. Or you might find this to be an adventure for inner discovery. But either way, whatever side you're on in terms of your perception and awareness of what this means to you or how it triggers you, the journey is crucial for all of us to have this sort of inner time, right? To be alone and to really be aware. Now, we don't often walk through our lives really ever alone, even though we can feel lonely surrounded by a lot of people, or we can sometimes, in another sense, we can be doing things, but we're so focused that, we find ourselves in our own space while we're still surrounded by many people. But it really feels like that even though the circumstances around you could be a whole variety of things. But where your focus needs to be is on that inner journey that you're walking, even though you're walking amongst a crowd of people, of environments, or circumstances at the moment. And it could even be health situations as well, like physical health circumstances. I don't know, I just saw the word asthma and then it made me think of this, just to put it in a general term. But when I think of asthma also, you're thinking about the capacity to breathe. And asthma is definitely sort of a limiting capacity to breathe, to be. And to really take in the circumstances that we're going through. So, in some way, this internal journey, one that can just sort of open our awareness up, it could bring to light something that you just have not been paying attention to and that really needs your attention. A crisis might really, sort of totally turn our lives upside down. But then in the aftermath, it makes it clear what our priorities are and what they need to be. Now, I'm not saying that, because I keep coming back to that tunnel, it felt totally peaceful and calm. But you see, it's the way that we feel about the circumstance that ends up determining what side of this, how do I say this? What the outcome of your experience will be about being in it, walking through this type of journey. So we don't need to be alarmed, but we need to be aware. And in that awareness, learn as much as you can, grow, and see it as that the universe is placing you on a clear path, right? And the path itself, the path of ascension, can be a lonely one, because not many people are going to walk that path with you. And so, with this, and for many of you, if you're watching this, you're really already on that path. And what you're struggling with is walking on that path and not really being fully understood by others, and environments that you go into and circumstances never seem to jive with the path that you're on, the awareness that your eyes and your mind are perceiving and processing. And as much as let's just say if I start to tell you that, if you've been wanting certain things to be in your life, right? If you've been wanting love, romance, or, you know, uh, abundance in the sense of how we see it in this world that is always not on that ascension path, that would explain why you're not getting what you're looking for in the way that you're looking for it. But those things are available to you through the path that you set yourself upon. And so being patient in shifting your eyes and your mind and your heart to really be receptive to, let's say, for example, romance or love on the ascension path, or financial stability and security on the ascension path, or successful careers on the ascension path. That is a whole nother frequency, a whole other kind of vibration and vibes, right? And so adjusting to that, adjusting your lens to what those opportunities and possibilities look like and are, and in the way, some of the ways that you're already being blessed um, to have those opportunities, but maybe discrediting them, or rejecting them because you have something else in your mind. And it's not like it's drastically different, but it's about, are these people, are these things walking that path with you? Are they in that frequency with you already? Are they on that journey? And knowing that if you called one of them onto your path that was not willing to be on that path, that it would just drag you back or off that path. And so our patience on this lonely road is really recognizing that you are not alone, that there are people not making that choice or not ready for that choice. But you have to look for those things and those people that are ready, already on that path with you. But the thing is that they're walking in their own lanes, but on an ascension path. And this is maybe not be a great example, but this is how it just came to me, is as I say, they're lanes side by side by side by side. And some of the lanes are not ascension path, but maybe a few rows over it is, but you can't see it, or maybe 100 lanes down, too far for you to see. But those people and those circumstances and those opportunities are walking that path. And you just have to give it time, when either, I don't know if it's your path is cross at some point, and then they're walking the path, same path with you, as your path and their path has evolved into a similar pattern of vibration. I know we all hate waiting, but just know you're not alone. There are people, and there are the right circumstances and situations, and the right time when for vibrant health, that you will be cross that path, and as you are evolving on your ascension lane. All right, so let's take a look at the archangel that we're working with for this week. And it's the Archangel Sammael. So when Archangel Sammael comes up, this is a so we definitely are dealing with, and we're definitely dealing with a shadow flare. Okay, so Archangel Sammael works and helps us to eradicate our ego. And so this is a really intense sort of work when he comes up, but not in the sense, again, like I said earlier, it's not like, you are gonna go through that whole thing again and it's gonna be as intense or as important. This is more of a flare. We need to be aware of it. It's a shadow flare. We need to be aware that that stuff can come up, right? And it's also interesting that this is sort of the week of Halloween, isn't it? And All Saints. So, it's sort of like we just need to be aware that things can flare up, but we are not in it anymore, right? This is my grandmother's quote from the Bible. It's that we're in the world, but not of the world. And you're not in that old reality anymore, but you're not coming from that place, but you're still in a world where things are happening, right? Where shadows are crossing paths, and you're gonna be triggered. We're living in a world like each one of us is in our own reality, and sometimes we hear about things that are not a part of our reality, but they are a part of us. They may not be a part of our life, but they are there for us to be aware of. And how we deal with it is maybe different for everyone, how we're called to deal with it, right? So for some of us, we might feel the call to just send healing or prayers, or to go out and get involved and donate. We're all called in different ways. When we see things that are triggering, or we're dealing with things that can trigger us, can cause us to spiral, but we've learned how to deal with it better and better each time in our lives. And so we have to rely on the good work we've been doing to stay the course against these kinds of solar flares. So the card says, and I don't know if it's clear in your sight here, it says choose harmonious responses. So really, in this week, so sometimes when something comes up, if there's a lot of, because you work in a classroom and so many things can come up, right? And the thing is to always stay calm. To stay calm and, to be deliberate in your heart and your mind. To really, it's not to react, but to respond. And to me, responding, it incorporates listening and observing, right? Listening to your heart, observing with love, and I don't mean like some Pollyanna type love. I mean, there's all kinds of love, and is just as divine, right? Um, tough love, but nonetheless, you listen and you observe with love. And when you act and when you speak, you do it with that same demeanor. So, in the same way, you respond. To me, this is what it means to respond harmoniously to the circumstances. And so you do need to be hold your ground, stand in your lane, meaning act from the ascension awareness and growth that you have and wisdom that you have earned in this moment. It's like, you got this. And sometimes we don't like to hear that. We want, like, can you walk with me? Can you hold me while I do this? No, you've got this. Because there are times that we need to know that you do. And you've got it not because you're alone, but because you're listening to all the love and the light that surrounds you. And it says, act with wisdom and grace. And let me just, getting a little dark, so it's morning time, but the light just went down a little bit. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, so I just love, this card, the one symbol that always draws me in is this bowl. You can see it's been cracked and repaired with gold. And so, we often don't like imperfect things. But when we put things, like when you put something like this back together and you use this, it becomes sort of a treasure, right? And so we kind of glamorize or happiness. Like, when we're not happy, we must be doing something wrong. But we also have to treasure just as much the challenges, the difficulties, the things that almost broke us. And that's key here. I think even looking at this object is like, it almost broke us. Nothing ever really breaks us. It may almost break us. And that it's the love that saved us at that moment where, right before we could have almost broken, right? And then that, when that love fills in, it's like this golden healing light that restores us and then turns that broken moment into this beautiful treasure that we have gained so much light and wisdom from. And he's hiding in his these two sort of daggers or swords there. And so, it just gives us a sense of, we're ready. We're armed and ready. Whenever we need to be. The power of love is not just Pollyanna, and I often equate that to when I tell people, as a teacher, when I'm stern, it doesn't mean at all that I don't love you. It means I love you with a passion. And so, tough love is, for me, love with a passion. Love is just like as fierce as any flame or fire. And that we have this inner resource within us when we're almost broken, and to pull ourselves back together again. That inner fight that some people might call it. All right, so let's take a look at the cards that I've already pulled from the bottom of the pulled, and they were laid out from right to left. So that's what we've been focusing on, that inner journey, that inner awareness. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is someone who is resourceful, right? She knows how to protect and take care of her resources. She knows how to nurture them, to help them to grow and to be established. So, what aspect of yourself do you need to nurture? What aspect of your life, right, or your lifestyle? Is there something that you need to change? Is there something that you need to look at that might be sort of leaking or draining your resources, whether it's physically, or it's your health, or if it's your finances, um, you know, or is it, you know, your loved ones, your family, your home? Is there something there that you need to nurture, to take care of, to give your attention to? It's so cute. Let's take a look at the card. Okay, so we have the Two of Swords. And maybe this is like, maybe there seems like there's several things that you really need to take care of, that you need to make time for, or maybe there are, maybe there's a couple of things or choices that you need to make, so that you can stop that drain happening in your resources, whatever it is. So you feel like you're out of options, or you know that it's a catch-22. If you do this, then this is gonna go right, and if you do the other, then that will suffer. So making no choice means that they're both, while you're not making a choice, both of them are still suffering. So make the best choice, right? The one that either you can manage at this point, because maybe the other one you can't manage, and that's why you haven't done anything about it. But make the choice for the one that you can handle. Choose the simplest, easiest one, and then, you never know. um, what you don't know is that you can plot things out of your mind, but sometimes you don't know how the universe can come in and sort of catch us right before, or catch a situation before it completely breaks open or breaks apart. So make a choice now, and then trust that the other thing will take care of itself, and that some kind of some resources or inner resources that you didn't know you had will just show up. But you got to let go first in order for that inner strength to come out of you. All right, let's take a look at the last card. And this is the Six of Pentacles. So there is something for sure that you're going to get back from taking this opportunity, from making this decision. You know, you've been holding out, and you've gotten yourself um, sort of caught in the middle of your fears. But when you let go, you're going to see that that somehow an opportunity is going to unfold for you, to help, I hope, show you that you are never alone, and that there's no conflict that is insurmountable. This is what faith is. That is, you say, with God, all things are possible. So when the circumstances, when when reality is telling you that this is the only outcome, let's not put aside our faith, right? Let's not put aside our faith and just give it over to quote unquote reality. All right, so the card I pulled from the bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands. And I think this, for me, I'm just hearing the words gaining a greater perspective. This is a circumstance that in which you're going to just truly gain um, um, a greater perspective about certain circumstances that you have just been worrying about, and you just were in such a limited mindset about it previously. But that's going to change for you once you exercise your faith by making that choice. Don't put that choice, that decision off any longer. Yes, what they tell you, okay, this is reality that people like to say so often. Reality is, and that when they say that, it just kind of brings your everything down, right? Lowers your expectations. But we also have to remember all things are possible, right? And if reality is what's possible, is what the universe wants you to face, then there's a reason for that. But never let go of faith in any equation. I don't care what equation you're working with, faith is the variable that can change anything and any outcome. And that is something that we have to remember and to hold on to it and never let ourselves be stuck. Stuckness is an opportunity for freedom, for being liberated, for self-discovery. Okay? All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings in this week. Know that there's a lot of angelic support surrounding you. And I love this idea that it is gone to prepare a place for you, meaning you're word up, and a preparation. Like when you're in those marathons and there's those spots where the people stand there waiting to, hand you water, to restore your energies, to give you some type of refreshment. That's how the universe works. No matter what we've concocted for ourselves in the future, the universe sort of has refreshment waiting for you there. So just trust this and know that. All right. God bless you and have a beautiful week.